and it's thinking. And the braggers. Excuse me. It's still setting it up. Why are we still setting it up? What's going on? And we're probably if we're live and you guys see us. I'm sorry, it's not telling me we're live yet. So it still says setting up. We could be just staring right at you. Okay, go ahead, Frank.
Ooh, nice.
It's still
Is
setting
that?
up. Oh yeah, that's us.
As always, a powerful entrance to the only clothing optional Star Wars after show here on the web. Welcome everybody to the JLJ Media Skeleton Crew after show, breaking down every episode of Skeleton Crew, which just wrapped up its season this week on Disney Plus. We'll be breaking down actually episode 7 only this week. I know we teased last week that we're going to be breaking down 7 and 8, but because we want to stretch this out as long as possible and give you the most time with us as well, we're going to just do episode 7 tonight, and then next week we'll do episode 8. So it's a win-win for you. You get another episode hearing us chat, and it's a win for us because I get to stare at these two handsome men for another week. Speaking of that, let's welcome these two hunks. John Dunphy. How are you, buddy?
Good. I'm good. Good to be with you.
Yes.
I love you both.
And
I'm
then
glad to get an extra week.
for sure. And as always, the man who, without this, without him, it wouldn't be possible. Our Star Wars daddy, our Sith Lord,
I love
James Lott Jr.
I love being Star Wars daddy. I love being a Sith Lord. I mean, it makes me laugh every time. Hi, everybody. Yes, we're sorry, but we're gonna do 7 this week. 7 was a good episode. We're gonna talk 7. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. Rest in peace to David Lynch. I just gotta mention that he's a big influence in my life. I have a show called Have You Heard of Me? It'll be out tomorrow, talking about the wonderful, weird world of David Lynch.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, when he made his big foray with Dune into
Yes.
popular big blockbuster Hollywood storytelling.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
movie is something else.
But for me, it was Twin Peaks, Twin Peaks, Twin Peaks.
So folks, yeah, join it if you want to join us in the chat, share your thoughts, opinions. If you have any questions you want to ask James or John, it doesn't even have to be about Star Wars. It can be anything at all. Life related, finances.
Yeah. If you want to ask about my deepest and darkest desires, I welcome it.
Yes. John is an open book. You only ask.
Really ask. Just ask.
And the super chat is enabled. If you feel like you are so inclined to throw any coin that way, some Republic credits, freshly minted.
Yes. Like in episode 7 when he was like all the stuff was falling on, he's all cackling. All
Yeah.
that old. It was wonderful.
From the 1139 vaults.
Right. I'm like, wow. A lot.
So yes, we bring episode 7 this week, episode 8 next week, the season finale. We'll see if it's the series finale soon enough. But John, what did you think of episode 7 overall?
A very fun episode again, I thought. It's been fun. Jod, the character of Jod, Jude Law has been doing a great job, I think, playing this character. Um, and it hasn't been the character that I expected. And it's been fun to watch his character grow more and more and more desperate as the season has gone on. And while we've always known he's been this sort of like villain, we saw earlier in the season him being sort of more kind with the children and helping them. And it seemed like maybe he could be sort of like an anti-hero who's like kind of a bad guy that turns into a good guy. And we find out, I feel like here, especially in these episodes, 6 and then into 7, especially now, that no, he's just bad to the core. Like that's just who he is. Um, and yeah, this series has been really such a treat to watch. It really has been a lot of fun.
Uh, James, how did you feel about thinking, oh, hey, this is going to be the typical like guy that we think is bad, that we're going to see him pull out a heart of gold when it matters most, that they decided to, zig where we thought they were going to zag, and just have Jod just be who I always said he was, just just a guy looking out for himself.
Yeah, that's a great twist. All right, wait, me a twist, but no, I agree. I thought like you guys, he'll become friends with the kids. It's all an act. No, he is a pirate at heart. All he cares about is getting the treasure. And we see in episode 7, there are a couple things I kind of like, oh, a couple of times, which we'll talk about when we get into it. But there were a lot of laughs too. There was some really, some of it could be unintentional, but I did chuckle at the opening sequence. I chuckled. There's a couple of sections I did chuckle. But yeah, I thought John would become the kid's friend, and be like anti-hero, like maybe to remind him of his childhood of some sort. No, not at all. And I haven't seen 8 yet. I haven't seen the finale. So I'm left with a couple of cliffhangers. I'm literally left with a couple of cliffhangers. So I mean 33. I mean it's somebody. So it's a lot. It's a lot. Yeah, a lot going on.
Uh, don't worry, we'll spoil all of episode 8 for you tonight as we break it down. It's fine.
I know where you live, Frank. Don't you dare.
Well, we start off episode 7. The kids have rocketed away from from the pirates hideaway slash spa planet, and now that they have the
Hideaway slash spa. I'm just
yeah,
as we talk about pirates, I'm just
Yeah.
You get to stash your booty, and then also freshen up your booty.
Exactly.
So we have them racing back to Aden, or while also we have Jod been taken prisoner again by the pirates, being thrown through the airlock, just being teased by that, and finally in episode 6 convinces the pirates like, no, come on, you gotta go, you gotta stick with me. This is the biggest score. I know I've been telling you guys it, but this is it. And he gets them to Aden, and then they just see the big screen around there, and Brutus just wants to just get rid of him. He's looking for nothing. He's looking for no. He's like, I don't need a reason. I just need to just throw you out an airlock and just get rid of you. That's what's going to be best. And John, I felt like this was kind of telling for John because he tells Brutus that's like, no, the crew doesn't like you. And they like me. They're just, following you, but they really like me. How do you feel the rest of the pirates view Jod?
I don't know. That's an interesting question because I kind of see that side because you see, especially that one pirate, right? That woman keeps like whenever Jod's like, well, what about me? I need equal time, and she's like, yeah, he needs equal time. And then like when he's like trying to like knock on the glass on the airlock, she's the one to be like, wait. Like there's clearly some people in this, even Jaleel White's character, right? Like there's been times like he has screwed Jod over at times, but like has seemed to have some sort of like a warm spot for him. Like I feel like that's true, but also like Brutus, I feel like is just thinking, right? Like I don't know why I imprisoned him in the first place to allow him to escape with these kids. I should have just killed him from the very beginning. Like that's what I feel like Brutus is probably thinking. Um, I don't know. I don't know how many of these pirates actually like Jod, but he definitely has, I think, more love than Brutus, maybe. It seems like they were more willing to follow him than they were Brutus to me. I don't know.
Uh, James, I mean, I know that, Jod, at the beginning of the series, he has that initial, pirate mission that just goes bust, which leads him into the whole being imprisoned and everything like that. But before that, what do you think his rate of success was with those pirates?
They probably got some fresh booties here and there. They probably got some wins. So they probably like, okay, I brought you some treasures probably for certain islands. I'm sure obviously he's had some losses, but I'm sure he had some wins. You have to have some so they can be loyal to you. He probably did share in it, and that's the thing. And so his desire for a larger win, that's just like his desire. And he's hearing this place has it all. Well, now he sees it does, but he has it all. It's enticing to them too. I mean, they're pirates. They all want a piece of whatever's going on. And he's
Yeah.
saying, I'll share it with you. And just that Brutus was like his name. He was a brute. He was a brute.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like, no one really likes that. I mean, no one, you tolerate that if you think he's going to lead you somewhere. But so far, he hasn't really led them anywhere. So it's been John. If you think about it, it's been him. And
Right. Be
literally, go ahead.
No, I was just going to agree with you, James, because I feel like when we were taken into the show, like from the very beginning, it seemed like we had this pirate crew that was fed up with this captain that just failed and failed and failed. But from what we saw, they stuck with Jod for, a pretty long time, it seems. And then in the time that we saw Jod sort of be, taken out of power and Brutus taking over this crew, we never really saw their lives get better under Brutus.
No,
So
no.
like, you know what I mean? So it's just like Jod was there. Like James said, he probably did have some wins at some point to have this
Had
whole crew.
yeah.
Yeah. And to have them maybe stick with him through potential failures that we saw. But then when Brutus took over, nothing ever got better. So of course now Jod's back. Let's follow Jod.
Right.
It's like
Right. There had to be some wins, sir, right, Fred? There had to be some wins somewhere in the past for them to go, he's to be a pirate. He must have had some wins, I'm thinking.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like for all those people to want to stay around him, and as well as not, I mean, it's only really Brutus for we don't know how long that he was with Jod and the rest of the crew, but he certainly reached his breaking point and decided to pull a mutiny on it. And for whatever reason, I guess everybody else was more afraid of Brutus than they were of Jod, because nobody, they all just kind of let Brutus do his thing. Uh, so yeah, I mean, I feel like, Brutus is just certainly more intimidating than Jod comes. But I could see when, if the opportunity presents itself to have, Jod back, yeah, I mean, I feel like, if the pirates have a say in it, they seem to be wanting to keep giving reasons for Brutus not to be able to just so quickly kill him.
Well, apparently there was a big reason why he took him back. Well, we'll talk that a little later. Sure. There's
And
a
for
big
Yeah, and I know we said but that we weren't going to spoil episode 8 for you, James, but I'm just going to just tell you right now, just get excited. I mean, if you've been waiting for Julia White to shine, and episode 8 is just,
Okay, I got a comment. Okay. I was watching this episode and Jaleel has one line in it. So it's kind of funny. A person of his cat. Okay, how I say this? Put it out to the universe. Which I say this? A person of his iconic status. I'm surprised they're not using him more. He's in the scenes. You see him in the background. He's one of the P's, like one of the minions or whatever. But like he had one line. And as he said something, the other guy pushed him out the way and he got his lines in. It's kind of like, I mean,
the
again,
only thing.
I'm like we said before. If they said James slouching a doorway at the cantina, I'd fucking do it. It is Star Wars. I don't care how I get in there, I would do it. So I hope Jalil's getting paid a little penny to just be in it at least. Or maybe he's fulfilling a childhood dream. I don't know. But I was kind of like some of his iconery. That's not even a word, folks, but iconography. I don't know what the words are. Well, the words are. The point is, I am smart people. I really am. The point is, they're not using him as much. It's kind of funny, but he's in the scene. You see him in the background. He's like a background actor. He's like he's there. But I didn't speak favorably of his acting the last episode, or whatever episode that was. But it's just kind of funny to me. I noticed it's just funny you say that, Frank. I noticed kind of that I'm like, he's not saying much.
I will just say that one line that Jaleel White had in that episode was still one line more than Boba Fett had
Oh,
in
there we
episode
go.
7, season 1
That's
of his
right.
own show, Book of Boba Fett, where all he did
He had
was
the nod.
nod.
Every voters were looking at the nod.
you realize, like, that's the sign of a truly great thespian, that you can do so much with just the most minute bit of body movement.
That's what Frank said last time. We don't believe Frank. That's just crazy. You're the lead of the show.
Much like we've talked about, like with Jennifer Beal, like you would think, like anytime that you're gonna, if you have the opportunity, so fortunate to cameo at all on a
Yeah,
Star Wars show, program, no matter how big or small the role might be, that for whatever amount of time you're on the screen, you're making a meal of it, which I
yeah.
feel like Jennifer Beal did. I
Yeah.
just feel like, you know, Julia White, there were a lot of crumbs left on that table.
Whew. Yeah, but it's funny you say that, Frank. I noticed that he was in the background. He only had one line.
Yeah, you know, I mean, yes, the check cashier's all the same, but
Okay,
man, you still, you know,
I know. Yeah,
like at home in my when I look in the mirror at the end of the day, I would want to think like, hey, I might not have been on there long, but man, I killed it for the little bit.
right. I agree. I agree with you, Frank. I agree.
Yeah, no, you're right. There's a part of me that wishes that like Jaleel White's character, just because it was like a fun, like weird, like cyborg character. Like I almost kind of wish that he had just decided, like, I'm done with these pirates. I'm gonna help these kids now, and he became like this lovable
Right.
pirate cyborg character that like
Right.
we were like, Jaleel White, hey,
I would love that.
where
I would love
it
that.
right where it feels like the way the character was written was just kind of like,
Yeah, at this point, you may as well just make like the Urkelbot, like a droid in the series.
yeah,
Like instead of SM-33, it could have just been the Urkelbot.
Right.
Uh, just have him wandering
the
around.
Urkelbot.
That would have been, you know, I would have been more excited about that.
Yeah.
Um,
So they get to add Aden, and of course we see that it's enveloped by the field. And so Brutus is like, "Ha, you Jod, you chump! You can't believe you fell for this. There's nothing here. We're just gonna throw you out." And Jod, you know, to his credit, he puts it all together kind of quickly. He's like, "No, no, 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 you dummies! You know, if you're hiding something, you're not gonna make it so easy. This
right.
plan has been hidden for so long."
Right.
You think it was just going to be floating at it for everybody to see? There's a reason why it's been so hard to find. It's inside
Yeah.
there. Uh, all right, I'm gonna ask both of you, like, if you were given the thing, like, hey, we need to send somebody into this kind of field to see what's going on. Can they get down to the planet and see what's behind the field? Would either of you be volunteering for for the honor of taking the first flight into
No.
unknown territory?
No.
The only thing I'd be volunteering is someone else.
Yes. And it's funny because John's like, I'll go down and give me a ship. Thank God he didn't go, but he was like, give me a ship. I'll
Yeah.
do it. I'm like, no, we don't know. You guys know what's going on. We know there's a barrier. Like we know that there's an audience. There's a barrier. And I said, I kept thinking, I kept saying there's a barrier. So how are they going to get in there? So I was thinking of the kids. She was like, oh my goodness. Well, begin the episode, which we'll talk about. I'm sure we find out what helps them. But
Yeah, yeah, and so while they're sorting that out, we also do start the episode, and I thought which was nice. We've been talking about the parents and what they've been up to this whole time, and we finally get to see a very nice little bit of action with them as they have finally assembled all the pieces of this probe that they want to be able to launch past the barrier, which is going to send a message to their kids. In a way, great, but also it's like, man, what a shot in the dark. You think that that's going to get
I know.
wherever you need it. It's like we can't give you any coordinates on how to get here. We can't tell you how to get here into
Right.
the planet itself through the barrier. But hey, just know that we love you.
But it was okay. First of all, I chuckled because when they had to run from the security droids, and each person, I got it. Ugh. No,
Yeah.
I got it. Ugh. No, I
Yeah,
got it.
yeah,
They're all
yeah.
going down. And wait a minute. Are KB parents lesbians? Is that two chicks?
That is.
Oh yeah. Oh
I was
yeah.
like, I thought I saw it before, but we haven't seen the parents that much. I was like, wait a minute, is that two chicks? Okay, we got some homosexual stuff going on in the series. I didn't realize that.
Hmm.
I was like, okay. I was like, wow, okay. I was like, wow. I just didn't realize that. Like, wow. But no, I chuckled. I thought it was just so funny. They kept, and then homegirl at the end, this general, I was a general, what her name is, she got up in the air, of course, and made it up there. So, and I thought that
Undersecretary Farah.
I say thank you. I think that little sequence was kind of cute
I
with
do
the
like it, John. How did you feel about it?
The whole thing with the chase and the security droids. What was funny is that I agree, and it could have very easily fallen into the very like cheesy chase that we saw in the Kenobi series.
Mhm.
yes,
But this was done well, I thought. I thought it was done pretty well. I agree with James. And yeah, I thought this whole
Everybody.
little scene was good.
Yeah, because I feel like so often you watch a sequence like this, and more often than not, uh, the they're avoiding all the blasts. Whoever's shooting at
Right.
them is missing them, and they're barely just dodging out of the way, and they're able to accomplish whatever they want. But this I liked, where you just saw each subsequent parent just boom hit down. The way they reacted to being stunned was great. I thought it was
Yes, I agree.
great sequence, and seeing them being taken out one at a time and having to kind of keep passing the probe along was cool.
Yes, I loved it. It was
Yeah,
great. I
yeah.
do. I
It
did.
it's funny too, because like it felt like this was the first real like adventure for the parents of the kids, and like they haven't even left the planet, but they're doing something now that they've never done. You know what I mean? Like that they're going against these security droids, and there was like it's funny because I feel like we've seen the children be described as like these sheltered, spoiled kids, right? But they've actually experienced some of the galaxy now, where you have these parents that haven't experienced any of that. Like they're way more spoiled and sheltered than their own kids are. You know what I mean? And it's like it's just funny to watch them now struggle to have their own little adventure and rescue mission when their own kids are like actually experiencing the galaxy out there and like they've experienced way more than their parents could ever imagine. I don't know. I kind of like enjoyed that little part of it too.
I mean, props to because when Neil's mom says, "Oh, I'm gonna run for it," I was not expecting that. I was like, "Oh, all right, we're just gonna see." They got so close, but they got stopped. So when it went that route, where it's like, "No, I'm gonna go," boom, stun down, and that not everybody else just kind of like, "All right, we're giving up," but they all still kept going. Nope, we are we're gonna make this happen. I give it for the parents. I I mean, it seemed like Neil's and KB's parents, for what we had seen of them, seemed very supportive. We only really saw friction between Fern and her mom and Wim and his dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they still came through.
That thing went in the air, and we got a cute little sequence of the parents talking to them. I thought it was kind of cool. It's a heartstring puller. They're trying to pull heartstrings already, of course.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
had no problem with that, though. I had no problem with that. Frank hated it, of course.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we're just gonna, it's like the equivalent of like, letters from home or family members coming to visit from Survivor, where it's just like,
I love that
okay,
shit. I
no,
love it.
yeah,
I miss Big Brother when they would sit and read the letters.
no,
I
oh,
miss that. I do. I'm sorry, I do. I do. I miss it. In a household, I miss it. I miss it. And the part that even the cheesy part where they do the at the end, where before the ending, they have like that on a Friday night. They'll have an episode where they reminisce.
that's the worst. That is the worst episode of the season.
I,
Oh,
I kind of miss them. I do. I
oh,
miss it. It's cheese. It's cheese. I miss it.
I love that you hate the family segments
I
on
do. Of
reality
course, it's
TV,
Frank. Of
Frank,
course.
because no, yeah, because Kyle on our podcast on Strat Chat also hates this to the point where I made like a whole thing. Like anytime we're about to talk about like letters from home or a family segment, I made this whole thing where it's like a video that plays like a sitcom theme and it goes family time with Kyle Petty.
And his
And then
last
it
name.
just comes back and it's just him like
I do. I get to know you. Like, whose picture? This is my sister. It's my and Dad wrote to me, and it's like, I believe in you when you had the one arm, and I'm like, I love that stuff. I love that stuff. I,
I believed in you when you had the one arm. Did they did
I miss it.
they get another arm?
Yeah, they get it on the show. It's like, I don't know. I miss that stuff. I miss it.
Yeah, but it's just like you're not gone that long. It's fine, and you're not dead. It's like you're not at war. You didn't go to. You're not serving overseas where
Okay,
you're.
back to the show itself. There are children out there somewhere. You don't know where they are. Would you be worried about your daughter if you know where she was?
So
Look, he's like, no. He's like, yeah, I'm fine.
I feel like I would give like more useful advice. This was just like, hey, we love you. You're great. Come on home.
Well,
Like,
I thought this was a useful hologram though, because for the show, because here's the thing, right? The parents think that they are sending this message out there. Maybe their kids will get it and it will help them get home because they're not saying anything like these are the coordinates you have to go to. They're just saying find a Republic emissary. And it's a nice moment between the parents and the kids, but
Yeah,
it helps to further the story also because now this gives Jod the idea of I just got to go down there and say I'm a Republic emissary.
exactly.
So it helped, it was like a nice moment between the parents and the kids and also helped to move the story along.
Yes, I agree with John Dunphy. Frank has no heart. Sorry.
True. I am notoriously dead inside.
That's right.
So,
That's right.
when you try to elicit, the family emotions and heart tugging at heartstrings, forget it. Go bark up another tree, mister. Uh,
I love
so the kids are having a little bit of fun here, just kind of being like kids, something they haven't had a chance to this whole time, where they're just kind of running around the spaceship, playing around. And even to the point where it's like, hey, Wim is bummed that they're heading back. The adventure's done. He's gonna have to take like an assessment test.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And even Neil, for his like, hey, for as many times as we almost died, this was still a really fun adventure. Uh, so yeah, it feels like, I am, and this goes into episode 8 too. So I just have overall thoughts about just like the kids, their ages, their impact, and how much they can have on the story, and where and against Jod and all that stuff. But we'll save some of those stuff until we break down the episode 8 episode.
I'll tell you, Frank. The thing that's for me, it's like a good bookend to the beginning of the season where they left. Like now they're realizing they're going back home, which I think the three of us were like, we wanted them to go back home before the season ends. So like they're going back home. Um, Wim realizes, though it was fun, he has to go back to his life.
Mm-hmm.
Fern's a stronger person. They're all kind of stronger people. But I like that it started out with Wim. That's how it started, right? He pushed the button. And I love that whole, they're just kind of like, guys, we over. Yeah, little they know the adventure's going to start happening on their way in. But I think that was a nice little bookend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like John, how do you feel about the progression of the kids' relationships with each other? Do you feel like where we're at by episode 7 is just a nice kind of progression from where we started at the beginning of the series? Do you feel anything was rushed? Do you feel anything was really left out to make you more invested in where the kids are at by episode 7?
I thought the execution of the relationship between all the kids was really well done. I thought we've seen a lot of emotions from these kids, uh, whether it's Wim and the sort of feeling of like just wanting more, right? And like he has this friend Neil, and they pretend to be Jedi together. And then you've got Fern and KB, and Fern's mother is very strict, and she has a position in the government. And you have KB who has this injury that makes her very interesting because she's got this. Tech that requires maintenance and things like that. And they've all come together. They didn't all like each other at first, but they, grew together, struggled together, and now it seems like they've come together again and like have formed a bond that's just like I feel like it's a very well developed relationship between this group of 4 kids, and it's made me really want to see more. I don't know if there's going to be a season 2 or not, but this group of 4 kids, I really want to see more from them in other Star Wars projects in the future because I think that they're super talented kids, very fun. I like the characters themselves, and I think that this is what we need is to start with a new slate with a new group of characters and just watch them grow. And this is doing it for me. So
All right. Well, the kids get back to Ed uh, just in time to as they're about ready to figure out how they get through the barrier, make their way in. Jod's right there with the frigate already, his pirate ship. Sucks him in with the tractor beam. He's like, "Ah, all right, great." And then we get to see Jod, uh, like he's gonna reclaim the ship. That's it. This is my ship. Uh, so so he throws the kids in the brig, and we get to see the holograms of all the parents. And James and John cried. They wept openly at the raw emotion of those scenes.
Saw like a baby. I was sobbing like a baby.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's just like seeing Wim get like he's like, oh, I'm gonna charge at you guys. Like, okay, sure. Not the most well thought out idea. Where I felt like those are those moments. I don't know. Like I'm torn that all the kids are pretty much just the same age and so young that they're not a physical threat, but also it's like maybe it's not that type of show, and I just gotta let that go. Uh, James, how do you feel about like in terms of the kids' age and how much they can realistically get away with doing on a show like this?
You have to let, like me and John said earlier in the season, you gotta let it go.
I'm
Whatever you
having
think
a tough
it
time with that, James.
no, this is just now let it go, Frank. Let it go. No, I know I'm saying that because there were times for me, I'm like, okay, this isn't a regular adult Star Wars series that has a few kids in it. That's the difference. And or Obi-Wan Kenobi, you had Leia, or you have the kid like that. It's an adult show with some kids in it. This is literally the reverse. I catch to myself, is this a kid show with adults in it? So that's what helped me when I watched the episodes. I watched it as like a kid, so I don't. So they certain things don't bother me. I just go, well, that's I guess because we saw some violence clearly in the episode. We're not seeing a lot of violence. The Star Wars shows can get really violent at times. They're not really showing that much on this show, probably because they want kids to watch it. So I kind of get it on some level. So when I watch some of the storylines, I go, okay, they wouldn't go that direction. Even though I was shocked at how evil and making John actually towards in this episode, he really just like I mean, I said, we'll get to those, we'll get to that stuff. But and I look at it as it's a kids show with adults in it.
Uh, John, do you agree with that? Because especially as James just kind of alluded to, we do see once Jod gets the ship inside the pirate frigate, the kids are ready to kind of fend off the pirates as they're going to kind of storm the ship. To the point where Brutus walks up there, tells them to come out. They don't, and he turns his back to like, ugh, these cowards that they use the mechanical arm on the ship and just close him up in a fist. And Jod takes that moment to just kill him.
He did.
Uh,
I was like shocked.
yeah. Like, do you like? I don't know if I would say this is a kid show with adults in it, or is it just a Star Wars show that it happens to be have kids as the star?
Yeah, I think that Star Wars in general, honestly, does a good job of straddling this line. Like I feel um, uh, like James said, this is a game, this is a show, I mean, geared more towards kids, um, but has adults in it and has some adult themes in it, right? And I feel like there's other Star Wars projects that are more geared towards adults that can still be good for children. Like it's like because I feel like I even think about like Star Wars Rebels, right? There is a scene where two stormtroopers are literally decapitated by the Grand Inquisitor. You never actually see them doing that, but this is an animated show geared towards kids where somebody is decapitating two people. In this particular episode, right, we see Jod where this is a kid show with adults in it, right? And these kids have captured this evil character, Brutus, um, and we watch Jod literally just shoot this guy in the head and kill him.
I was shocked. I know that I was shocked. I was like, wow,
Yeah,
okay.
right in front of these kids. And
Yep.
so like but we never actually saw it. It wasn't a gruesome thing, but it was sort of a shocking thing. And I like how Star Wars does this with their different shows where they make it where it's like something that kids can consume, but that's like dark enough and like intense enough for adults to enjoy also. Because I'm sitting there being like, wow, these kids did they great job. You got Brutus. And then I'm sitting there watching Jude Law shooting Brutus in the head, and I'm going, "Holy crap! Like this is good for me too. Like I'm enjoying this. Like it's a kids show, and adults can enjoy it also. And that's like the best kind of show that you can make."
In the chat, I'm sorry, in the chat before you said something, Frank. In the chat, Juwan says they should follow the Deadpool direction.
Uh,
I don't watch Deadpool, so I don't know what that means.
Hmm. I mean, like I know, like Deadpool 2, they had um like a young kid that was trying to make a connection with Deadpool. So I don't know if they were meaning that. Um,
Ryan Reynolds lend into the violence.
oh, okay. So yeah, it's just where you know, uh, yeah. I mean, I guess Deadpool is kind of taking, yeah, making fun of a lot of the tropes, but treating like the action and stuff is very serious.
Oh,
And doing it like, top-notch action, but also kind of poking fun about all the stuff about the genre in general. Yeah, because like for this, typically you would think that there's always something that's going to stop Jod from, like, he'll always threaten to do a violent act, but there'll
right.
always be something that will kind of prevent it or delay him or stop him from actually doing it. And this time, no. We actually, because the times that we've seen Jod be violent, it's always kind of cut around it and cut
Yeah.
away from it. So we have no idea for sure. We could have easily just said like, oh, he let these other people go, or it was his old pirate buddy, so they just chatted and he just left. He didn't shoot anybody. This makes it clear exactly. It's like, no, no, no. We aren't trying to play coy with you guys. Jod is a
Brutus
ruthless
is
pirate.
dead.
Yeah.
Brutus is dead.
Ah,
It also makes me wonder too, because unless I unless I missed something, I could be totally wrong. I'm just forgetting something. But like even the episode where they were, stranded on that planet that was like Atatin but was deserted, right? When Jod showed up with all the Eopies to bring,
No,
did he negotiate with that rival clan
oh
to
no,
get these
don't
Eopies
know.
back, or did he just murder all of them?
We don't know.
yeah, exactly.
Don't know.
Like, and I didn't think about that until like this episode. So
Yeah, yeah, we didn't. We don't know. We have no idea. But he just
Uh,
showed. But he, I mean, between slicing off for SM-33, it's like slicing his head off, basically, which is a cliffhanger. We're not with that. Then and killing Brutus, and then threatening them with the lightsaber. Now he's using that lightsaber. I thought he could easily do something with the kids. I mean, I'm thinking like he. I don't think he's any closer to them than he was before. He
yeah.
didn't. He's here for the what's it, the money,
yeah.
the treasure.
It's all about the money, money, money.
I mean, money. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So I think that's. I mean, seriously, I was like, oh, that's what shocked me. Actually, I was like, oh, they're really going there. And I saw at the beginning it said moderate violence instead of the
Uh,
top moderate
that's
violence.
true. Yeah. Not in your face violence. We didn't see
Yeah.
like a blaster just blaze through Brutus's skull.
Well, he's a furry person, so it's kind of like it's
It's
like they
it's
shot
it's fine. It's fine. He was a furry.
him.
Like, he's a werewolf, dude. It's fine.
He was bad. No,
Violence against furries is legal.
furries. It's fine, fine.
But interesting too that once he gets rid of Brutus, uh, Jod puts on his mask again.
Yeah,
Puts Goes in, corrals the kids, and we do see the holograms play of the parents' lame messages to their kids. But with Jod, we don't see Jod's reaction because he's got his mask on, so we
yeah.
don't know how he's feeling about any of this.
Nope.
Is it at all any of it touching his heartstrings? Is he still just cold? Is he moved at all by seeing parents professing love to their children? We don't know. So interesting choice to keep him masked for that. Uh,
True. That's true.
Hmm.
yeah. So we then get into Wynn making his lame attempt to try to take back the ship, which goes nowhere. And then Fern decides to like, no, 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 this is our ship, and Smee having to SM-33 having to remind Jod that a pirate, according to the pirate law, that a captain can only be pirate of, or a pirate can only be captain of one ship, can't be pirate of two, captain of two. So, they have to get into like if he's the captain of the frigate, now who's the captain of the Onyx Cinder? So.
Mhm.
Then we get into, I mean, I guess this gets into just like, a nice, fun kids beat moment. John, did you appreciate this? Dibs, no dibs. This is a kids vessel. Did you appreciate the back and forth trying to decide who was the boss of the Onyx Cinder?
Yeah, I thought it was fun. I thought it was fun, and I have um, trying to think here from episode 7 because we didn't find out. I'm trying to figure. So hold on. When did we find out about Jod's actual origin story? Was that episode 8?
That is.
Yeah, that's
Okay, all right. So I don't want to spoil anything from James.
Here it goes, James. This is what it was.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm not going to spoil it.
he's
They
only
But
watching Obi's
Skywalkers
brother.
had a third twin
As I say,
that we never knew about.
I I have more thoughts on this that I will share next week when we
yeah.
talk about episode
Sorry,
8.
kids. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry. Don't be sorry.
When you discover that he's the third Skywalker twin, James, your face has got to just melt.
He's in love with Leia too. That's my sister. Yeah. But no, it was just it's I liked it also. I thought it was kind of like who's going to step up now because now we're getting to like I thought Fern like is she going to do it. I mean, but first it was weird we did it first, and then Fern. So it was I thought it was very interesting. I thought it was interesting. They're going to try to take it over from him, try to take it over from there. Like it was a little power struggle, but that was kind of cute. I was fine with it.
Yeah, and I guess it was enough kind of logic for SM-33 to buy. Because he's like, all right, cool. This is your ship, kids. We'll get rid of the adults.
Yeah.
So Jod and the other couple pirates that are on the board get tossed out. But we could tell because you could just know it was like a typical aliens thing. The ship is so slow in leaving the
Yes.
pirate frigate that's like, all right, we know this is not the last we've seen of Jod.
No, of course not.
Yeah.
When you give us
When
a
he
nice
showed
shot-
up, I did jump for a second, but I was like, no, of course he's on there. Of course he is.
Yeah, you don't give us a long shot of the plank, kind of slowly rising. No,
It
all
was.
right.
Yeah, yeah.
Right, right. Like if they wanted us to think that he wasn't on the ship, they would have showed it taking off when he was saying no, no, no. But they showed him saying no, no, no. And then after that, showed the kids on the ship trying to start it
Yep.
and get it going. So like that's how you knew, all right, well, he's clearly on there now. So
We're just fine. We're just fine.
Then we get a nice little chase. It's a chase through the barrier, and we're figuring out like what is the thing that's keeping those kids safe, and how this ship actually initially made it to Manhattan when it looks like all the pirate ships around them are getting exploded. We find out that the ship itself is the key. Uh, that it is able to pass by all the security systems I have floating in the barrier that shoot out electricity and destroy any kind of unwanted vessels. It takes out all the pirate ships, but they're able to get through, and they make it back to uh, uh, going through Manhattan, but not before your boy Jod shows up with his lightsaber, James.
And it's funny because they said even for that he was smart. They're saying I guess he knew that particular ship would have to get back in there. That's
Yeah.
they claim. They said he knew they're harkening back to a callback to the beginning when he picked that ship. They say, oh, he knew. He must have known. Whether he did or not, I don't know. But it was like that was smart. That's the key is that ship. That's going to get him safely back through there.
So yeah, Jod shows up on the bridge, decapitates SM-33.
I know. I was like, what? I was
Uh,
like,
you,
that's
I mean, I guess it does show you that you know in other ways how we've been kind of sort of desensitized to the lightsabers. We know that they are a dangerous weapon for sure.
yeah.
But when
Yeah.
you see them used so frequently by so many other, whether it's in the Acolyte, we're seeing a lot of cool action sequences and stuff. But just for general people that aren't spending time around Jedi, to just see a lightsaber drawn, uh, you know, it's like I wouldn't know how to fight anybody that was just had a lightsaber, especially
I
little
guess,
kids.
but I guess it's such a Star Wars staple. I guess it's like almost like every series has a lightsaber moment. I mean, I guess they got it. I guess that's the one of the through lines that's a Star Wars is known for lightsaber. And in some cases, we've seen it, the dark saber and this saber, and that. Some of it's been really cool. Like the Acolyte, we all agree, one of the few great scenes was the whole lightsaber fight and a couple people dying on it. But spoiler for you to watch the Acolyte. But just that, I mean, we know there's been some scenes where it has been fun to see and fun to use. But just I think it's like one of the few through lines. Like just every series has a lightsaber of some sort and a scene.
Yeah, and I thought this did a nice job for as much as we've become sort of desensitized to lightsabers in Star Wars media. Like this did I think this show did a good job of showing you how cool a lightsaber can be, but how freaked out you could be if the wrong person's holding a lightsaber as well.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, so Jod is ready to kill the kids. They're threatening to kill the kids, and also saying like, "Hey, I also happen to know what your parents look like too. So if anybody says anything while we get on this planet, I won't just kill I'll kill all your parents. It's gonna be good times. A lot of stabs, a lot of stabbing going along with my super cool lightsaber." Uh, and of course, Jod wants to get the pirate ship to follow him in, but they're much like they were on the planet in episode three. Yeah, that they're kind of like tractor locked, and also the barrier doesn't allow kind of communication outside of it. So he can't get a hold of the pirate frigate, and he's locked on course to be able to get back to Ed, and they land. Which I did like this, where it's like you can tell how long it's been since they've had any sort of visitor, because the landing platform just kind of covered a lot in grass. People are still like, "What is happening?" As it's
Right?
lifting
Yeah, I
to
know.
accept the
I
shuttle.
was laughing. Oh my god, I was laughing. Oh my god,
What's
that's
going
hilarious.
on?
I love it. I was laughing so hard. Um, I think what's funny is it was a cool sequence of going through it, the thing, going past the thing, coming in and seeing the actual planet,
Hmm.
like a moment. There's the planet. We're seeing it. It is enshrined in this casing, and then actual landing. The parents seeing it. Like they must see the plane. He said all the folks when the things started rising and they're all falling down the hills. I mean, it was hilarious. I was like, was that intentional or was that? But it was a cool sequence. And that was a cool sequence.
James, I'm going to ask you, just in terms of like once we get down to the ship lands, gets lowered down because of course the robots are there, and he's like, "Hey, I'm an emissary. I'm here to speak to the supervisor." So they get lowered in. The parents are brought down to meet them, and the families are reunited, which is great. But we still have the threat of Jod. What's going on there?
Yes.
In terms of just everybody acting at the top of their intelligence, how do you feel? Was that achieved well in terms of how the parents are acting, how the kids are acting, where they know that Jod is dangerous, but they're also worried about his parents being killed? Jod turning around and killing all of the other parents. Jod, trying to pull a con, saying that, "Oh yeah, I'm the emissary. Show me all these delicious vaults that you guys got there." How do you feel all this was everybody? Because did you feel everybody was being written as smart as they could have been?
I didn't think about that. So for me, it was because it was such a short sequence. They take it because the kids are reuniting with the parents. No, I'm so sorry. Blah, blah, blah. But they switch to him being led, into he's like laughing with the money. And then at the very end, it's a cliffhanger. He pulls the lightsaber on him. It's not ended. So I was like, oh, I'm like, I mean, the parents are reunited, but then that's why I'm like, what's he gonna do? And that's why I really want to go to episode 8. I really want to start watching it. I was like, oh my god, it made me want to watch episode 8 right away. I didn't have no time, folks, to watch it. But so for me, it was a whole sequence was really fast. It was also, and because now we know that now he's found his treasure. But the thing was, I want a side note. On a side note, he really was adamant trying to get the people upstairs, out there, trying to really get in touch with them. So I was like, wow, he was kind of surprisingly loyal to them. Like he really wanted to let them know that I was here. Because also probably needed a ship to get back up there and get out of there. But he was really loyal to them for some weird reason. I was like, okay, interesting. But no, now that we know that he's not the kid's friend, I'm very curious what he's going to do now. I haven't seen it yet, so I'm very curious what he does next. That's what that episode left me.
Yeah, John, because I feel like I don't know if it's necessarily loyalty to the rest of the pirates on the frigate, just other than just like, hey, I need the actual manpower to be able to pull off this heist. So that's why I need to speak to you guys to get your butts down here to help. But John, how did you feel about the ending? Do you feel like, that the kids were? like for me, I will just say, and let me know how you feel. Like it was kind of bugging me that the kids weren't trying to communicate with their parents more, especially at times where Jod was deep in the vault crying over credits, where it's like, why aren't they talking to the parents and filling them in on what's going on? How did you feel about how this whole ending came together?
No, yeah, I definitely agree. Like, but I think it was done for the story more than anything else. Like, it was, we're gonna make this as dramatic as possible. Like, obviously, the kids should just be whispering somehow to their parents that, like, listen, this is the bad guy. Like, but I get like the dramatic effect for the episode and like for the series. But I don't know. I thought this this ending was very interesting to me because I felt like it set things up in like a very like mysterious way. It's like because we know we're going to the supervisor, right? It's like what's gonna happen next. I felt like this was like a fun way to sort of like bring the parents back together with the kids where they can't really communicate with each other. Like obviously I wish that there was a way that they could have just sort of like sent a message to the parents somehow. Like but I liked that we got the reunion without any real resolution
Hmm.
at the end of this episode.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I felt like the ending just seemed weird to me, like abrupt and like kind of a brief, like it didn't like hit that like climax kind of note. I mean, it's for a wide shot with him holding the lightsaber out. I'm like, okay. I don't know. I felt like that was an odd ending shot to close out this episode.
But
Yeah.
to me, it was a cliffhanger. So for me, I'm like, what are you gonna do? So for
Hmm.
me, I feel the opposite. I feel like it was a good cliffhanger ending.
Hmm.
They're gonna try to kill the parent. The parents gonna try to. What's next? He found his treasure. He can't get off the island. Wrong show. He can't get off the planet. The parents that were reunited. Now it's gonna come out. I guess how bad. I'm assuming this is gonna happen next in episode 8. So no, to me it was a great cliffhanger because SM-33's been chopped in half, or when his head's chopped off, the mouse is sitting there, and what's going to happen? They can't
Yeah,
that
I
thing.
mean, yeah.
Well,
When you look at the end of this episode where we're at and like the questions that still need to be answered, it doesn't feel like there's too many questions. It's like you have the parents being reunited with the kids, you have Jod down there. The pirates are waiting outside the barrier. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah,
everything's coming together. It's like a perfect storm. And I
yeah.
feel like it's not too much, it's not too little. Like it's exactly what we're waiting for going into the finale of
I
the season.
I agree. You both said in previous episodes you wanted them back with the action back on Manhattan. So I feel like now we're on Manhattan. So now the action has to happen.
yeah. Uh, which leading us into our season finale, episode 8. And John, I don't know about you, James, trying to keep the spoilers to you to a minimum, but I was not expecting the next time I'd see Bill Burr in a Star Wars episode to be in uh
I hate you,
Absolutely.
Frank. I hate you, Frank, so much. You're
I
folks.
definitely didn't expect him to look.
Folks. He's not. I know Burr's not in the episodes 8.
I didn't expect Bill Burr to look as good flying an X-wing
There you go, right? There you
as
go,
he
right?
did.
It's
So
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
Princess Leia shows up. It's crazy. I know it's not happening. Am I listening to Frank right now?
Yeah. I mean, Gina Carano settled her beef with
Oh,
Disney.
God, oh, God.
yeah,
And
I never thought that we'd get a scene between Bill Burr, um, you know, Gina Carano and Zeb
that's right. Yes.
in the season finale of Skeleton Crew. I never thought we'd get a scene between those
You're
three.
like, I never thought that Grogu would show up and take over half the episode. No, yeah, that's yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when you
Oh,
see
actually, Grogu didn't show up. It was Boba Fett, and he
Oh,
said, "Oh,
that's
Grogu's on the way."
it's on the way. Grogu's on the way. Yeah, boy, that's. I would mind a little All Stars action, like All Star, an episode of All Stars, all this different Star Wars together. Only a few of them are the same timeline. Some are in the same timeline, but we got fun.
Boba Fett shows up, and when he nods,
It's
James, I
crazy.
tell
It's
you,
crazy. Oh,
it
I
is
love
a
that.
oh, it What a great callback to the most powerful episode of the Book of Boba.
I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're left in kind of a lot of questions to be answered. Uh, whether we get them all answered, we'll find out when we watch episode 8, where John and I know already what questions have
I
been
know you
answered.
guys know already. I don't know, but some of you guys at home probably know too. I'm actually gonna try to watch it tonight or tomorrow just to have it out the way and watch it. 'Cause I really want to see what happens, and then
Uh,
we'll be back next Thursday to talk about it.
yeah, actually, folks, for all you listening or watching, for the next week, to get James prepared, please message him, tweet him, DM him all your fake
Fake
spoilers
spoilers. Yeah,
big spoilers for
please.
episode 8.
God,
Please. Yes.
that sounds
Uh,
The
so
best
good.
ones, if you do this, the best ones I'll read on air. I will read them on air. I will read them on air. You guys want to do that? Some fake spoilers? I will definitely read them. If there's some good ones, I will read them on air. There you go.
yes. Yes.
James Lott Jr. everywhere. So yeah, that's yeah. I'll read it.
I
Seriously, I'll
love
read
it. I
it.
love it.
I'll read them.
So yeah, folks, that's going to do it for this episode of the Skeleton Crew After Show. We'll be back next week for the season finale, episode 8, and hopefully a lot of fake spoilers that James will share with us. All the great, which all I should say, he'll share all the great spoilers that you shared with him between this episode and next week's episode. Uh, but as James Lott Jr. said, he's a James JLJ Media, or James Lott Jr.
You're right, Jim. Either one.
Find him on all these social media sites. John Dunphy, where can they find you?
You can find me personally at jdunn89 on Instagram or Twitter, or Threads. I would love to get off of Twitter. I'd really love to get out of that place. But at jdunn89 for me personally. Aside from that, if you want to find me and two of my best friends in the whole world, Mr. Kyle Petty and Miss Gina Morgino, you can find us at Strat Chat Pod, where we talk about competitive reality TV shows like Survivor, The Challenge, Big Brother, The Traitors, etc.
Still no deal or no deal island, but okay, fine.
I'll get there. I'll get there once Mariah is on it.
Fantastic. James Lott Jr. shared where he was at, but James, go ahead and share it with him because you do so much. You're not just only be a social media sensation, but you've created this media empire, JLJ Media, that is the home to not just the Skeleton Crew After Show, but plenty of other. Well, we've covered every other Star Wars live action series right here, John, James, and I, and that is just the tip of the iceberg of what awaits you on JLJ Media. James has covered, the width and breadth of the things that he has covered on this, on his at GLG Media would astound you. So do yourself a favor and go explore all his offerings.
We have over 90 shows from JLJ Media. So from high school sports to soap operas. Speaking of that, Frank and I return to the world of soap operas this Sunday when the Sunday Soap Block returns, starting at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Is the Wide Army Spotlight. 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time is the Bold and Beautiful Spotlight. That's me, Tammy Govea, and Amanda Russ. And then at 1 p.m., the anchor of it all, the second biggest show of 2024 is JHB Spotlight, starring Frank Moran and me, James Lott Jr. This Sunday, the 19th.
Well, I tell you, for 2020,
Sunday Sudsy Soaps. Sunday Sudsy Soaps. It's the Sunday Sudsy Soaps with James and Frank.
I'm ready to come in strong for 2025. I'm not taking number 2.
That's right. Well, Forgotten Hollywood made number 1 again, so it's kind of weird. We're very close. It's right. Both shows are very close.
Mm-mm.
We're the longest running show, but they're close. But yes, we're back. So we do that. And also, like you said, we do all the other Star Wars live action shows. I cover Bad Batch, all their seasons on my show, Darth Vader is Your Father. So you check out all kinds of Star Wars news on there. So check out all of that stuff. Like I said, Hallmark Channel stuff. We do, like I said, high school sports. We do a little bit of everything on this channel. So it's just, you can find something. Organizing, life coaching. You can find something. I swear to God, you can on my channel. If you can't tell me,
He'll
I'll
put
make
it there. Yes.
put it there. Put it there. Put it there.
Good
On to you, Frank. Where
Yeah.
can I find? Where can I find you?
Find me on all social media at Happy Go Jackie. And as a sneak peek for my thoughts on Sunday for GH Mini Spotlight, I'll just say the Tracy and Jason scene. Woo, baby.
Did it break your heart? Did it
Steamy.
melt you, Frank? There
Ship
was
on that
everybody
scene.
saying, "Wow, that scene alone." I was like, "Wow." Even I was sitting like this, and TV was like, "What?" That was, people were saying Steve Burton hasn't acted like that in years. No, but Jane Elliott deserves everything. She deserves whatever they need to pay her, whatever, because she just. But that, yeah, I agree with you. That was good.
Well, I can't wait to, man, we're gonna talk as James Jr. would say, we're gonna break it all down.
Get all down. That's right.
Yeah, so yeah, follow me there, and we'll see you next Thursday for the season finale of the Skeleton Crew right
Yes.
here on JLJ Media. May the force